everyone. Welcome back to the We Care podcast. I'm Molly, RN here at We Care.
And I'm Casey, nurse practitioner, focusing on functional medicine and primary care.
So today we're going to break down functional medicine, what it really is, how it's different, and why so many patients finally feel better when they address the root causes of their issues.
Yeah, so if you ever have been told your labs are normal, but you still don't feel good, make sure you pay attention, and this episode's for you.
Casey, functional medicine gets thrown around a lot. What does it actually mean to you?
So to me, functional medicine is just root cause care. It's very systems driven and just looking at the body as a whole instead of individual symptoms. So I look at your gut, I look at your thyroid, I look at hormones, I look at your nervous system, your lifestyle, your nutrition. I look at all of that and how it all plays into your overall care.
So one of the biggest frustrations patients share, and we hear this all the time, and we've talked about it in multiple episodes, but patients are always told labs are normal, but they don't feel normal.
Yeah, and there's a difference in normal and optimal, and the problem is that you don't wake up diseased one day. There is a process of labs that are abnormal, labs that are not optimal, which turn to abnormal. And then that's where patients start to feel bad. But the problem is that, again, they're told they're normal when in reality it's pointing towards some kind of underlying issue, but nobody ever takes the time to dig into that.
It's really important to reiterate how much you and Jordan are here to dig deeper into these issues. And I know our patients have really appreciated that attention to care.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about some of the patients that you've treated?
Yeah, for sure. So I've had patients come to me. One patient in particular owns a pest control company, and she came to me and she was like, I'm bloated all the time. I can drink water and I get super bloated. And she was having horrible urgency bathroom issues to the point where she was like, I can't even go out to eat with my coworkers because I have to plan my day around the bathroom. And so we dug into that and we found out that she had a lot of issues going on in her gut, a lot of bad bacteria that was causing these issues. And we spent 3 to 6 months really just digging into that dysfunction in her gut. And I remember month 4 or 5, she comes to me and she's like, I made plans with my coworkers for lunch today because I didn't have to plan my day around a bathroom. And her funny thing too is she was like, I can't pass gas, and that's not something I can do. And 4 or 5 months in, she's like, you'll never guess. You'll never believe what I just did. And so that was a big thing for her. And so I think that knowing that there's underlying factors, again, you don't have to plan your day around a bathroom if you suffer with these issues. Let's dig into it and figure it out.
Oh, yeah. That's life-changing.
Yeah. And it makes them feel validated when they get answers too. Mm-hmm. I've had other patients come to me with anxiety, and their doctor had them on Lexapro or Zoloft or Xanax or Klonopin or whatever. And at the end of the day, I said, well, let's keep a blood sugar log. Let's see what your blood sugars are doing. And their blood sugars were high and low all day, and they're not a diabetic. But when you have episodes of hypoglycemia, when your blood sugar drops, then it can exacerbate the symptoms of anxiety. And so, anytime they went to their doctor with worsening anxiety, nobody ever looked into, well, what's your blood sugar running? And so I had them keeping a blood sugar log. And again, they were not a diabetic, but their blood sugar would hang out in the 40s. And then they get the jittery, they get the palpitations. And so again, we didn't have to escalate those medicines. Mm-hmm. We were able to address gut issues and blood sugar imbalances. And then another patient, this one is probably one of my favorites. I was treating her mom, and her mom was like, listen, my daughter, she doesn't want kids, but the doctor wants to do a hysterectomy on her because she has such painful periods and just blood clots all the time. And, she can't function. And so I was doing my own practice, and I did not do hormones. And so we got a Dutch test back on her, which is a urine test that looks at hormones, cortisol, things like that. And so I was able to give her a progesterone cream because she was in an estrogen dominance phase. And so I was able to give her a progesterone cream because there was never enough progesterone to kind of shut off that water faucet. So, and water faucet being her period, she would have 28-day periods. She would stop for 3 days and then she'd start again. And so her progesterone was in the tank. And so I was able to do it from a non-hormone replacement standpoint. And she messages me all the time and she's like, thank you so much. Like now I don't feel like I have to have a hysterectomy.
Well, that's a big deal because
Yeah.
a hysterectomy is not a quick little procedure to
No.
recover from either, and then having to adjust, to a kind of a new normal
Yeah.
afterwards. That's
Even
a
if
lot.
you don't want kids, like a
Right.
hysterectomy is probably not your first answer.
No, never. Surgery should, I guess, not really always be the first answer.
Yeah.
So let's see. What does functional medicine, look like here at We Care? I know you've had your own practice before and everything too, but what are you bringing to the table at We Care?
Yeah. So you come see me. We do comprehensive labs, or if you've had labs done recently, I'll look at those. But a lot of times patients haven't had labs done in a while. So we'll start with a lab panel. And then based on your symptoms, I will either order blood hormone testing, I'll order urine hormone testing. I had a patient come to me yesterday with mold concerns. So she had already had a mold test done. Her mold levels were out the roof because she had been living in mold for years. I'll look at stool testing. They ship a kit to your house. You collect a sample, you send it back, and I analyze that. And so it's very, very personalized, not cookie cutter approaches here.
Love that. Who do you feel benefits the most from this type of approach?
Anybody who's been told you're fine and you don't feel fine, you feel like your symptoms have been swept under the rug and there's that deep ache that there's something else there, this is for you.
And we see that a lot these days. And I'm appreciative for you and Jordan, being willing to look a little deeper. And I know a lot of our patients really appreciate that too.
Yeah.
So one of mine and Jordan's favorite things to do during our episodes is to kind of bust a few myths.
Let's
so
do it.
I'm going to ask you a few little things to correct for me. Okay. So myth number 1, functional medicine is just alternative medicine.
So not true. Functional medicine is not just alternative. It is very evidence-based. The protocols that I follow are very evidence-based driven. There are multitudes of research articles and things that I compile when I create a protocol for you. And so the lab testing I use, the reference ranges I use are all evidence-based.
Perfect. We talk about this all the time, but myth number 2, if labs are normal, nothing is wrong.
Normal does not mean optimal. And you and Jordan talked about this on a podcast before. Thyroid function, prime example, normal levels are 0.45 to 4.5, but most people find they function better around 1 to 2. But if you go to your doctor and you have a 4.5 level, they're going to say, oh, there's nothing wrong.
Right.
And no, your body's screaming that there's something wrong. And they just don't know to dig into it more, or they've only ordered TSH. And I know that is Jordan's pet peeve too, is, only ordering one thing. So normal is very far off from optimal.
Yes. Myth number 3, hormones fix everything.
Hormones are great, but if your gut's off or if your nervous system is off, you're throwing money to the wind, because there are so many things in your gut that could be wrong, or your lifestyle or your nutrition. Like there are so many things that can affect hormones other than just getting hormones to be getting hormones.
Understood. Myth number 4, functional medicine is extreme or restrictive.
Functional medicine is realistic, sustainable changes. It doesn't have to be deprivation. It doesn't have to be extreme. There are some cases that call for that temporarily as we're addressing other things, but it is not. It's sustainable changes.
So for those of you listening and thinking, man, this really makes sense, that's probably a sign you need to look into some things a little deeper.
Yeah, and I'd love to help you understand and find a plan that works for you and your body.
So you can call or text We Care Health and Wellness to book a functional medicine appointment. We also have online booking availability through our website.
And if this episode resonates with you and you're thinking, crap, this sounds like me, or this sounds like my mom or my sister, make sure you share this episode too.
So that's going to wrap up today's episode. Be sure to tune in for our next one. Make sure you subscribe to We Care Health and Wellness and follow along for more behind the scenes content. And remember that at the end of the day,
We care. See you next time.
bye guys.